name is Sachi Shastri, and this is my Persuasive Speech for Charles Drinnon's Speech 1101 class. We live in an intensely advanced world. We have smartphones that can do anything. We can fly across the world on an airplane. We can even visit the moon and send rovers to Mars. In such an advanced society, you would think that equality would be a simple notion, a basic right to the people of the world, including the United States. However, there is a widely noticeable gap between men and women, a gaping chasm stretching far and wide between the genders. Why is it that equality between the genders is inconceivable? Why is there a universal thought that women are lesser than men and deserve less pay, fewer rights, and less respect? Women make up over half the world's population, and we contribute to the well-being of the world. We too are affected by poverty, climate change, and political injustices. It seems as though we should enjoy the same luxuries as men. As a woman, I have not only witnessed the unfair treatment of women in today's world, I've felt it. I understand that inequality rings far and wide. The gender gap is evident among multiple sectors and has a long-standing history behind such unfair treatment. Such discrimination affects women, but also the world economy. However, we can fix our broken sister together to achieve justice. Today, I hope to shed light on the shortcomings of gender equality in order to persuade you to consider the positive sides of such a notion. What exactly is gender inequality? Trust Women defines it as, quote, the disparity in status, power, and prestige between people who identify as women and men, end quote. On the other hand, gender equality is, quote, achieved when women and men enjoy the same rights and opportunities across all sectors of society, including economic participation and decision-making, and when the different behaviors, aspirations, and needs of women and men are equally valued and favored. For the most part, the scales are tipped towards men, and equality is in their favor. While the difference in women and men can vary across nations, the gap is evident almost everywhere. The gender gap in pay is persistent worldwide, including the United States of America. The International Trade Union Confederation reports that the gender gap ranges from 3% to 51%, with a global average around 17%. Today, women make around 77 to 79 cents to every dollar made by a male, a figure that has not changed much since 2000. While women have made gains from their pays in the 1970s, when they earned only around 62% of what men were paid, the gap is still evident and must be fixed. Women are also underrepresented in leadership positions. Women make up around 47% of the labor force in the United States, and they make up around 49% of the college-educated workforce. However, only around 25% of women hold executive and senior level officials and managers, hold only 19% of board seats, and are only 4.6% of CEOs. The disparities between males and females is evident across the board and in multiple sectors of the economy and social system. Gender inequality obviously plagues our system, but why? What are the reasons for forcing women into this unfair corner? As it turns out, there is a long-standing history that accounts for gender inequality. The patriarchy, a cause of gender discrimination, is rooted in the concept of gender roles, or behaviors that are considered socially acceptable in certain situations. The social construct is that men are required to do the more laborious work, as women are to keep the home and take care of children. Because of this, men are considered to be superior or dominant. This has led men to lead society and act as the primary authority figure central to social organizations. There is also a socio-biological standpoint from which gender inequality may be assessed. Originating from Darwin's theory of natural order, sociobiologists theorize that gender discrimination stems from genetics. Women are, according to such researchers, obligated to invest more time in raising offspring, and men therefore must compete over them. Yet again, these ideas are refuted by social constructionists, who argue that society merely creates boundaries as to what women can and cannot achieve. Gender inequality is obviously unfair, as it forces women who may perform the same jobs and have the same responsibilities to be treated as lesser people. But such discrimination does more than harm morality. Human development suffers in the hands of such inequality. Women are segregated against in various sectors, including education, healthcare, political representation, and the labor market. Because the opportunities presented to women are often of less frequency and of less quality than the services offered to men, the development of women as a people is hindered. Unfair discrimination towards women can lead to early or child marriage, sexual trafficking, domestic violence, and other horrific tragedies. Gender inequality has leaked into institutions, which in turn keeps the money and land from hands of women. This leads to the exploitation of women, who are left with no means to fix this broken system. It's a shame, really, because Time magazine reports that the global economy would grow by $28 trillion by 2025 if women participated in the labor force to the same degree as men, a 26% increase. In fact, quote, ensuring equal labor force participation for men and women offers a potentially massive economic boon, end quote, and would benefit all parties as separate groups and as a whole. There are more cons than there are pros to gender inequality, as it is a harmful social construct. Inequalities between the genders is tragic not only to individual women, but also women as a people, along with the world economy and society. The world as a whole would benefit greatly if women were treated equal to their male counterparts. But how do we fix an ailing system that's persisted for centuries? The task is not easy, but it's also not impossible. There are tactics that we can do to make gender inequality a reality. Fixing discrimination against women begins in the home life. In fact, it can begin with you. The stigma that women are housewives must be changed, and women must not be seen as only caregivers. Of course, females are the ones to give birth, yes. However, fathers can have just as much of a role in childcare as can a mother. Children, especially young girls, should grow in a warm, nurturing environment that emphasizes equality. Girls should have equal access to quality and consistent education, and parents should emphasize the importance of knowledge and its basis for advancement. I ask you today to take actions in your own home. The little steps that we implement in our own lives will and can make a difference in the effort if the effort is global. In the economic and political world, much can be done to eliminate the gap between men and women. Because women are often forced to stay at home to take care of children, businesses should do their best to provide either the pay for childcare or an actual center for children. Women should be allowed equal opportunities for advancement and to be able to serve in leadership positions. Pay for men and women should be equal, and as long as the jobs or responsibilities are the same for each, it should happen. Sexual harassment, something that happens much too often in the workplace, should have severe consequences for the offender. Politically, an equal rights amendment should be passed. While the idea has been tossed around, it's never been passed. However, such an amendment would virtually dissolve the disparities constantly faced by women. Gender discrimination laws would be abolished, and there would be true equal rights for all. Women's rights would have a legal basis, making their arguments and testimonies more viable in the court system. We can be drivers of this kind of change as well by leading petitions, peaceful protesting, and rallying. Gender inequality has plagued our world for much too long, and for no valid reason. Such a system actually hurts the economy and our morality, yet it still persists. Many people have tried to validate such discrimination through sciences and studies, but in reality, such theories are merely cover-ups for a broken truth. Women are discriminated against and underrepresented. However, this is not to say that this system can't be fixed. Each actions by individuals and businesses to lessen the gap between genders actually helps. Together, we can work to eliminate the horrendous tragedies that face women in today's world. Each action counts toward the betterment of our society, and each step goes a long way. I encourage you to take this information to heart and act on what is right. Women and men are equal. It's time to act like it. Thank you.